Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave original. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We will get to the Sherrone Brown story. Sorry, we did a lot of pre-recording last week, and then that shit happened. So, shouldn't have left you without a dope beat step 2. However, it just works out that way sometimes.
Sherrone Moore.
You know who I was mixing him up with, Ryan?
I'm the senator, the senator from Ohio.
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. I was mixing him up with Sherrone. How does he say it? Sherrod?
I think, it looks like Sherrod, but I believe it's Sherrod.
Yeah, I think he goes with Sherrod. And I wonder,
they don't make a lot of either of those,
right? And when Sherrod became a thing, was he sitting around saying y'all are saying it wrong? Right? Like if he's just insisting, no. It is Sherrod, not Sherrod. And somebody was like, hey, Rod, what you say, bruh? I ain't even really understand you like that.
It depends on what parts of Ohio he was in.
Yeah, I have so many questions because I also feel like his Sherrod precedes the proliferation of Sherrods in the larger society, right? Or perhaps when he was born, I guess somebody thought he had a different daddy. You know what I mean? Many things are possible. Anything can happen. Anyway, it is Sherrone Moore. You are correct. And I'm glad I had funny jokes to make off of that. Otherwise, we'd have had to re-rack and start it again. However, we're here.
Here we are.
We're rolling. We'll get to that. And now I have to put on my solemn face because Patrick Mahomes has a torn ACL. The best quarterback, I believe, that I have ever seen. And one that I don't have the greatest interpretation of his play this year, but I'm just not inclined to believe that out of nowhere he became terrible. Lamar Jackson is creating a similar conversation, although he don't play good. I don't understand that either. But either way, with Mahomes, it's a torn ACL. It happens basically they weren't going to win that game. They're not going to go to the playoffs. So almost in a way, it wouldn't have mattered if they were 13-0, right? Mahomes tears his ACL. All of this is moot. It's a wrap on you guys. You're done. They tried to Gardner Minshew out there. Like, come on, man. It just ain't going to be. Now, obviously, you don't want your quarterback to suffer a major injury, but I think it's very interesting to consider at times, ACL still sounds like ACL. You know what a torn ACL is in a lot of ways? A torn ACL is a lot like the word millionaire, okay? And here's what I mean by that. Millionaire at one time meant someone who had $1 million or someone who made $1 million a year, however you want to put it, right? Okay. However, what $1 million means is much different now than what it used to mean. It used to mean you had a much more of a staggering sum of money because inflation, everything else, right? So people who are millionaires now, the word in technically speaking may mean the same thing, what $1 million is, but in the actual function of it, not quite. But when people call somebody a millionaire, they still mean it like they did back in the days of Daddy Warbucks, right? They say it the exact same way. They mean it the same way, but $1 million ain't the same. Torn ACL is very similar in the sense that while it is a lot of injury, just as $1 million is still a lot of money, but Robin Leach ain't showing up on your house for no $1 million. And there's a little bit less doom and gloom around the idea that you have a torn ACL, right? I think it is fair to assume that at some point next season, Patrick Mahomes will be back. I think it would be silly to try to rush that process, right? You don't need to get yourself on no Robert Griffin all in for week 1 situation. Go ahead and take your time and take this opportunity to look around the place and ask yourself, what kind of changes is it that you need to make? Because baby, y'all need to make some changes. And I say that because Ryan, how many would they win? 15 games last year?
Yeah, they went 15-2.
They went 15-2, and they went to the Super Bowl. And yes, they got their clocks cleaned in the Super Bowl, and it was a bit of a cliffhanger season, but they won 15 games last year. And I think most of us believed that they got better
Right.
after last year coming into this year. The advanced numbers, like we talked about this DVOA, they were top 10 DVOA team, but they lived at the margins last year. And this year, at those same margins, it was going in the opposite direction. And that makes it somewhat difficult to evaluate how good you are or are not, right? From where I'm standing. I do think, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, Chris Jones is a thank you for the memories. We're going to play a real long video when you come back and play against us for another team, one that you will try to seek out in your own division because you're going to be mad.
Right.
Right? Like Chris Jones, Denver Bronco. I don't know anything about the cap or anything else, but that's the kind of stuff that happens. Right? They're going to have decisions to make about him. Travis Kelce, this has to be over. Right? I mean, I don't think he's been bad this year, but I don't know how much money you can keep pumping into this. I don't know how much more he's going to want to do. Like, you think he want to come back and play with no Gardner Minshew?
And he's got let's say other things he can do.
He does.
Yeah,
he does. Matter of time before he and Klay Thompson get a podcast together. Klay Thompson, you see that where Megan Thee Stallion put that video up of her picking out his clothes for him and then putting that thing on him, and then he showed up in those clothes. I'm surprised that he even still comes to the games. Right? Like
again, someone with better options.
Yo, he is in, and look, good for all the people involved. I want to be very clear about what
everyone
I'm
involved
saying.
seems very happy.
Yeah, but Klay Thompson in particular looked like that kind of like I'm in college love. Right? Like it hit you for the first time. And college love can definitely have you skipping classes. Like, I mean, I don't know why, maybe I don't know how much longer she gonna keep on rapping, like all of this, but I look at him in particular, like, partner, I don't even know. And y'all ain't even good.
Yeah.
You good? I'm sorry. You want to talk about going through the motions in practice. Especially with that dumpster fire that they've got over there.
Oh yeah, who wants to go to work and hang out with Jason Kidd?
Yeah. Oh. When nothing's going the way that it was supposed to. You see, what's his name? Lively. He got hurt.
Yeah.
So like all the reasons we thought they might be able to make something out of that situation.
They're gonna trade Anthony Davis. Yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. I think the Mavericks and Klay Thompson have agreed to a contract buyout for X amount of numbers. Feels very Marchish.
Yes, although it's entirely possible that Klay, none of this bothers him.
Yes,
he might just be just showing up to work like, oh man, we lost again.
Yeah,
shucks.
I'm gonna go back to my very famous, very attractive, very talented wife, who's also a very good cook on the side,
and my 4 championship rings that I've already acquired.
Yeah, and my nearly $300 million I made playing NBA basketball.
Why does he still come to work? I don't understand why he still comes to work. Patrick Mahomes might be itching to get his ass back though, but that's neither here nor there.
Talk about a spouse who might start a podcast.
I gotta say, I'm just saying might. I don't know nothing that's going on in their life, right? I've seen enough of Klay Thompson to know what's going on there. Patrick Mahomes, I have no idea. I'm just throwing up the possibility that you might be out here putting in work, right? Like
aggressively attacking his rehab.
Right. Yeah. Here I was talking about he ain't going to get back for week 1. You never know. He might be like, no, I'll be back for OTAs. Who's to say? We got somebody we'll talk about a little bit later that apparently, didn't want to be home that bad himself. But they got to figure some stuff out, man. Right? Like the Chiefs are in a situation now, and it's not just simply that they have to figure some stuff out. They have the opportunity to do it. This can happen where you get something a little bad happens, and now, sometimes it is that somebody will go in and they'll have one surgery. But since they in there for the first surgery, like go ahead and be like, okay, well, since you're going to be laid up, why don't we go ahead and do this scope on your ankle too, right? That happens sometimes. Feel like that is the situation the Chiefs are in. This is a question that my good buddy Charlie Kravitz brought up while we were talking, both bouncing things off as we were preparing for our various shows. But Kravitz made a very interesting point about this. Kyle Shanahan over there making it happen with Matt Corkle Jones. They got a receiver they spent like $30 million a year on. They just got rid of him. Like, he doesn't even play. Christian McCaffrey has gotten old. George Kittle is whatever age he is, whatever. But you hand Kyle Shanahan whatever, Kyle Shanahan will cook up an offense for you. Andy Reid has perhaps the best quarterback of all time. And I mean, we generally agreed that what they had going on at receiver was pretty good coming into this year, especially after they got Rashee Rice back, right? Like, remember, we thought that anything that we thought was short with that offense, well, once he came back off of that suspension, we're looking at it like, oh, okay, cool. Well, now they're going to be straight, right? Like, I felt good about seeing Thornton. Like, they had speed. They had guys that can at least get down the field and get open. They're not able to generate much offense. They're not able to run the ball. This game against the Chargers, they couldn't run the ball. How much of that is scheme, right? How much of that is not a question of how good the coach is? It's a question of how good of a job the coach is doing, given what they had. Like, now's the chance and opportunity for them to do the math on all of these things. Because worst case scenario just showed up, man. Like this is the thing. We're at that time of year in the NFL where now the guys are dropping like flies. And we're not at the point of the 17th game of the season. But I mean, I think some of this does wind up being cumulative year over year or whatever. But every additional game of football you play is another chance for a catastrophe, right? That's just kind of how it goes. Micah Parsons, that sounds like an ACL tear. Ryan, they saying all the things they say when they know it's an ACL tear, but they just hoping against hope with that MRI.
You look at Adam Schefter's Twitter, and it's Micah Parsons, coach commenting on Micah Parsons, does not look good. Sean McVay on Devontae Adams does not look good. The Puka Nacua walked out of that game. He ended up coming back. And of course, you know, what happened with Micah and Patrick Mahomes today.
Yeah, Devontae Adams, I was watching that play as it happened. It looked like it's that old sniper.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he just went straight down. Like, this is, can your team hold up? Right? That's just really what this comes down to now from this point for the rest. And if you're in a position where you lose your best player, now you really check some things, right? I'm going to say this, though. I know the Cowboys, they play the Vikings. We recorded before that game because we don't really care that much. But I tell you, it's a high possibility that Jerry Jones is going to say the wrong thing. You know, so hey, I will tell you people right now, it's 8:23 Eastern time when we are recording this. So if Jerry happened to say something like, well, you know, we were a little bit fearful that something like that
we
might
will talk
happen
about it on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm saying that is why we decided to trade him. I don't know that he's going to say that, but it's totally in the cards that I could look like a psychic. And he says the exact same thing that I'm talking about right now. Because Jerry don't be remembering that anybody is out here listening to him, paying attention to the words that he says, right? It could happen. But also there's this possibility, Ryan, I'm going to get you back on this because I'm curious what you think here. She's been doing this for 10 years, man.
Right.
Like, even in the presence of the greatest quarterback we've ever seen, maybe this is how a run is supposed to end.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously make the AFC Championship game 7 years in a row, excuse me. They've been making the playoffs every year from 2014. Obviously, some of that predates Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You know, within the Alex Smith years, I think Kelsey was probably had a piece in all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, you look, I mean, the cumulative effect, they've essentially played an extra season's worth of games over this last half decade, and that has to have a wear and tear on everyone on that building.
Yeah, like whatever it is, it's going to be the next stretch of this run. So I think the Brady years with the Patriots, I feel like we can break down into 3 stretches. And the stretch is really the inflection point is Randy Moss.
Right.
Right? Like, there is, to me,
on both ends.
Right. It's before Moss, during Moss, after Moss. And during Moss, to be fair, is only a 3-year stretch?
Yeah.
Like 07, 08, 09, and then 2010 is when they traded him to the Vikings. But those are the different runs. Like now that middle one has this 17-1 season or 16-1, however it turned out. 18-1. There we go. That run had that. They had the year where Brady gets hurt, right? But then even in 09, he came back. He was really good. Like that team was one thing. It was built around another paradigm when they did not have any great receiving threat. Like you had very good Troy Brown, for example. You had Deion Branch. And then after, it is the tight end era. It is Rob Gronkowski, the stretch with Aaron Hernandez. It's basically when they just started throwing the ball to the white boys.
Yeah, I mean, you're not even mentioning Wes Welker or Julian Edelman.
Yes. Chris Hogan, remember
Chris Hogan,
him?
yes.
Yeah, that's
Danny Amendola.
Gunnar Olszewski. Right? That's just when Belichick had the Google alert. Yeah. Right? Just hey, look, they must have been a nonprofit, like a placement organization, like the one that puts poor black kids into prep schools. Right? Like somebody had to be like, no, if you just sit down and interview them, you'll see what we're talking about. And we'll make it work. But whatever the run was, that run is done. Right? I guess we would call that it's really kind of the Travis Kelce era, as you're correct in the Alex Smith part, right? Like Kelsey's kind of the bridge, but obviously we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, right? But if we say it's the end of Kelce, it's the end of Mahomes, this is going to be the split. Look, you got tickets to sell and everything else, but you don't put him back on the field until, like, you put him back at the end of next season, so he's not starting. Like when Paul George broke his leg and they brought him back for 8 games at the end of 1 year because there was no reason to come at the top of the next year with him, like with all that, whatever was apprehensive or whatever wasn't solid. Like, go ahead and work that stuff out now. But if this is the end of that run, that's what, 5 Super Bowls, 3 championships, a 5,000-yard passing season, 3 MVPs.
Yeah.
And
with maybe the greatest tight end of all time.
With possibly the best tight end in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe.
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, no. Look, and this is no knock to Travis Kelce. You could make the argument that Travis Kelce is the 5th best tight end in the history of the AFC West.
Gronk? Oh, no.
AFC West.
AFC,
Antonio Gates. In no particular order.
Antonio Gates. Shannon Sharp.
Kellen Winslow.
Tony
Gonzalez. Dave Casper is also in the Hall of Fame for whatever it's worth. I don't have the same frame of reference on him. That's just to say that is the division of great tight ends.
Yes.
Is all I'm saying. Is there Antonio Gates had 100-something touchdown catches.
Yeah, his stats look unreal. And I mean, obviously, like people like Shannon was unbelievable. Winslow was unbelievable. Like those are, like you said, it's a conference of great tight ends.
Yeah, but this is the thing I'd say about Gates that's a bit different relative to all of them is that Gates was a number, like Shannon Sharp was a threat as a tight end. Antonio Gates, I feel like for the entirety of his run was basically the number 1 receiver.
Right.
He was not, I don't recall a Tyreek Hill
correct
on the Antonio Gates watch. He was that guy, right? Let's say 100-something touchdown catches.
Yes.
Like, we talked about Phillip Rivers and people, the idea that Phillip Rivers is going to the Hall of Fame. If he does, Antonio Gates is a significant reason why that could happen. But no, this would be an unreal run that they have had, right? Like just nuts. It is kind of whack that it would end with the Patrick Mahomes ACL tear, but I don't think he's done.
No, quickly, there are only 7 receivers with more touchdowns than Antonio Gates.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think people misunderstand.
And one of them we're not allowed to name on the show.
Oh, yeah. No. It's not like, look, and just to be clear on tight ends, to me, there's 2 lists. There's the list that has Gronk on it.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we haven't said the word Gronk yet.
And then the one for the rest of you.
Yeah,
like that's the Travis Kelce is a better tight end than Rob Gronkowski. No, man. Like, don't let my buddy Nick get y'all out here lying to y'all selves. And if it's not Nick that's got you saying that, stop smoking crack. Ryan, I want you to jump on here with me because you can vouch for the truth in this. I was telling you about this. So we had recorded all of our episodes for the week by Wednesday.
Right.
right? We had some travel situations to deal with and stuff like that. So we got everything recorded early. Thank you guys also for checking out the interview with Alex Stapleton, the director of the Diddy Doc, right? We appreciate y'all on that. So anyway, Sherrone Moore, was it Wednesday night? Wednesday and
Wednesday. It was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday evening.
yeah, Wednesday in the 4 o'clock hour. We know
Yeah.
we have timestamps. So it was Wednesday in the 4 o'clock hour that the word got out that he had been fired. And I immediately started hearing some wild stuff, right? People immediately, and when I say I'm hearing, I'm not saying it's like I'm some kind of journalist, but it was enough that it was like, oh wow, there's stuff going on here, right? So I was getting a call from all the networks all day long at CNN on Thursdays, like, yo, can you come on and talk about this Michigan coach? And I'm like, hey, man, I don't really got that much to talk about, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm hearing that a lot might come down the pipe. So I'm going to pass on this. And they're like, well, here's our reporting. I'm like, yeah, I don't think y'all, I'm going to just not talk about none of this.
Yeah.
It's 5 days since I said that. And I personally feel like now it's finally appropriate to talk about this. Like, I'm so glad that there was nothing that was offering me any pressure to talk about this before, because we needed stuff to happen. And the thing that I didn't expect to happen was that he was going to be arraigned in the white jumpsuit in a rubber room.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he took his arraignment on Zoom.
On Zoom.
Like it was 2020.
It's over, right? Like, after this is done, we will never see his face again. Think about this. He doesn't turn 40 until February, okay? He got a dream job, and his entire career is over before he turned 40 years old, right? Now, Ryan, I feel this is a time where it's glad, I got you here with me and that we are of somewhat different cultural backgrounds, right?
Right.
Because we can just acknowledge that for all parties involved here, the story is made more salacious by the fact that he risked it all behind some young white woman that worked in the office.
His assistant. Yeah.
Yes, this is still a hot button issue in America, right? Like, it don't get people killed necessarily, but it still hits people, right? It's and that is squarely where we are in this. I don't know how it's going for the white delegation, but I can tell you for much of the black delegation, the fact that this gentleman lost it all behind that particular white woman in that particular station in life is not going over well with the people. I do not know what he will have to do to get sympathy from the folks. But as of right now,
he's got a long way to go.
He's got a really, really, really long way to go to get the sympathy. I'm not going to tell that very good joke that I have in mind because I just don't need the misinterpretation and the aggregation. But yes, he has a long way to go to get back because he lost it all behind this. And that was before we started hearing that he's that guy. What guy? That guy, right? The guy that get caught slipping, living in a college town, sleeping with the woman that works in the office. Like, that's not a really uncommon story. It's a bad idea and it's wrong, but there are also a lot of romances that start with similar sorts of stories, right? Like, I don't think people are that terribly offended by the idea that he had a relationship with somebody in the office. But with the understanding that if you get caught, you got to deal with whatever comes.
It's an industry that leads itself to that situation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. For a number of reasons, for what it's worth, right? However, when the people find out that apparently you be hitting them up on the OnlyFans and you were exchanging messages with the woman off the OnlyFans during the national championship game, per her telling, just throwing that out there. And clearly this man has a problem, right? He has a problem. And then he went and busted up in this woman's house, allegedly, with a knife, allegedly threatening to do harm to himself, allegedly. Meaning that there's a great chance that he's going to jail behind this. Like, not forever jail, but it seems totally in the cards that he could wind up going to jail for this. I've never seen I can't name anything like this. I have nothing comparable that comes to my mind in terms of what like every term seems corny, like fall from grace, whatever it is, like all of these things just seem absurd to bring up. However, if it makes them feel any better, you're not going to go down alone, because if any of you have ever dreamed of being the athletic director at the University of Michigan, I think you'll have a chance to put in an application, right? And I believe that you'll have this chance to put in an application because apparently a man that they knew might not have been all the way straight, they fired him for cause, and only the athletic director was there with him. Now, I'm going to give Ward Manuel the benefit of the doubt here. What if he felt like he knew this person and that he was afraid that things could get worse if there was a lot of people around, and he thought that that was the best way to manage the situation? I'm going to just tell you like this. I done seen people walked out of the office after getting fired for under far less combustible circumstances than these. Okay. I've seen people make the argument that they should have had mental health professionals there when he got fired. I'm going to be honest with you. My imagination is not that good. I never would have thought about that. Right. Like I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying I don't hear you. I'm saying that I personally never would have thought about that. But some big motherfucker to wrap him up. You know what I'm saying? If things get a little wild, somebody that can, because Sherrone Moore ain't small. He played offensive line. You know what I'm saying? They got to be somebody. Where the strength coach at? There ain't no way in the world I would have done that by myself. No, sir. Could not have been. Anyway, Ward Manuel chose to do that, and then that man ran out of there and ran up in that little white girl's house with a knife. You're not keeping your job after this. I just want to know this. Ryan, what was that? The Wall Street Journal, where you sent me that link with the article?
Yeah, the 24 hours.
Yeah, and I just want you here with me because I don't think I'm gonna get this wrong, but just to make sure I say to get this right, this is a very important detail. They had done it previous. They've done. This is not the only investigation, by the way, that they have done of Sherrone Moore, and his dealings with women in the office, on campus, or whatever it is, but they had done an investigation about his relationship with this particular woman, and they had been in a relationship from 2022 to 2024. Okay. And they didn't find any evidence. And the biggest reason they didn't have evidence is because she said no and he said no. And I don't know exactly like what powers they have. They can ask people to turn over phones. I'm sure the company issued phones they can or whatever, but I don't know exactly what they could do. But they said their investigation said that there was nothing to it. And then, out the blue this week, this woman calls up and decides to confess her sins. That's what the article in the Wall Street Journal said, right? Am I expected to believe that she just decided to do this out of nowhere? I'm not saying that it changes anything about the outcome, right? Or what there is to say about Moore. What I am saying is, I would like to know why that decision was made. Because what's that line, Ryan? Just because you paranoid don't mean they ain't out to get you. Because he is got.
Right.
He is as got has ever been. That just seems to be an incredible turn of events. Like, who knows what it is that happened? In the 911 call, the woman said that Moore had been stalking her, right? That is what she said in the call. Maybe that, if that's the case, right? Maybe that led to her calling and saying, hey, do this thing that'll fire that dude. I don't know. I don't understand this. But the fact that this just happened out of nowhere, something tells me we're going to find out a lot. Did you see they're going to do an investigation of the whole?
Yeah, everyone's getting. It's going to be. I think it's going to be more than just the AD.
I think it'll be more than just the AD. But how thorough investigation do you really think that this is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, Let's put it this way. They've been doing a lot of investigations in that building recently.
Yeah. So this is one thing though I think about with Michigan though, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. So I've seen this is a like deeply corrupt program sort of arguments, and I get that, but right, I feel like these things don't have that much to do with one another.
Right. No,
Like, like Connor Stallions. So one thing that was interesting with Connor Stallions, the reason that Moore got suspended behind that is that he deleted text messages before he turned his phone over, but then he came off of those text messages, and there was nothing incriminating in
right.
them. Right? They had that weird thing with the dude that was stealing signs, and I'm sorry, it was wrong, but it's so funny that I
Yes.
can't find myself like getting to that place. This right here, I don't know how exactly this ties in with like the idea of a corrupt program, right?
Right.
Like this is weird things happen in offices. Like I don't
Yes.
so I guess this is what I don't know. How many offices have a circumstance like this and what is the likelihood under those circumstances that somebody tells or that something is actually done? Somebody in a boss-like capacity is having a relationship with a subordinate. I feel like it's more likely that people let that slide
Right.
than it is that people enforce it. That's not to say that they shouldn't.
But that's what. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't find that to be an example of a uniquely corrupt culture within within the athletic department. You know what I mean? Like I'm not sure that that's the argument to make here, but that's what it's going to be, right? That's what they're going to have to overcome. And maybe Michigan is trying to do a truth and reconciliation before the public, and they're going to go through all their shit and they're going to tell everybody everything that was wrong. But I didn't think that they were stupid. Right?
Yeah.
Call me cynical, but that doesn't seem like the
Yes.
smartest thing to like. These are not people of great honor.
Correct.
Okay. So I don't know what investigation is going to be. I don't know what they're actually going to do. You remember when the Dolphins had the bullying situation and they put together the Blue Ribbon Committee, and that committee still ain't never had no meeting?
Yeah.
Like, not one. Like, but they can't just win the press conference here. Like, that's not going to work. I do think that now that they've said it, they're going to have to come up with something. But consultants generally are people you pay to tell you to do what you already wanted to do. This, no matter who the investigation is, this is an example of the consulting business. That's what they are going to have. They're going to run through this. And they're going to come back and be like, you know what? It's actually not as bad as we thought. It's crazy, right? Like, yeah. But we wanted to go back here and make sure everything was okay. Yeah. We're going to be fine. Yeah. Like, it's actually funny, Ryan. Like, as we talked about this more, I had in my head envisioned, because, I don't do it like I did it when I was a youngster in this business, but, I like a little dark humor,
Yep.
and I feel like I have a fairly sophisticated understanding of the edge and where you can stand and talk on these things. And I will say that um, this case has tested at many points my question of, is this funny? Not so much the macro, the big is this funny, because that actually is not.
Right.
But there's little funnies or little potential funnies, I think, that I had seen along the way. And in my edgy brain, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get in here and maybe we gonna it started feeling less and less funny. The more
Yeah.
I thought about him sitting there in that rubber room,
Yeah.
right? I was like, oh, this isn't this, no, this isn't, no, it's not. Like, this is, can you imagine if this were a story about a coach that we were more familiar with?
No. Because
Right?
this was A1 from Wednesday, like
Yeah.
really until Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL.
Yeah, but imagine if this was, and I'm just throwing a name out, right? Imagine if this was Jimbo Fisher, right? Like, I'm not even talking about Nick Saban, right? I'm not even talking about like Dabo or like a super famous coach or Kirby Smart. Just somebody that, oh, I remember him, right?
Right.
Imagine it's Jimbo Fisher that did this. What? Like, we don't even know who this guy is, and he has America captivated,
Right.
right? Like, actually, who is the coach that you would be the most shocked?
Kirby's up there. Kirby's up there. Did you see the Nick Saban quote going around?
I did not. What was it?
Let me pull this up. I want to make sure I get this right. It's about, Nick Saban's.
Oh, from the book?
From the book.
Oh,
yes.
I do know that quote. If you could send the screen cap to me, I will read it word for word, because this story has been denied. And so what?
Yeah, so what? It's funny.
Yeah, we like it better. And he's in the locker room with the dudes at LSU. And honestly, man, this is the kind of story that, like, this like, maybe this is a man that you let raise your son, help your son become a man. Like he hitting them with some true game, right? And he was talking about dealing with women and, these young boys in college. And I do remember that before this excerpt, there's something where he's using like the P word in his discussion of like talking about dealing with women. He's just, he hitting them with some true game. And he says here that ultimately you never want to sleep with anybody who has less to lose than you do. So ultimately, if I'm ever going to sleep around on Miss Terry, it's going to be with Hillary fucking Rodham Clinton.
Now that's funny.
That's hilarious. That's because somebody put together an AI video of Nick Saban telling that to Sherrone Moore. Sorry. I'm going to call him Senator Moore. It's the holiday season, and it's time to make dreams come true. To make these holiday favorites, it takes a team of talented people, from actors to editors to props people to sound crew and more. And when it comes to building such a team, whether it's for the entertainment industry or a wide range of other industries, you need to hire the right people. The best way to do that is with ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. You can find out right away how many job seekers in your area are qualified for your role. With ZipRecruiter's advanced resume database, you can instantly unlock top candidates' contact info. Make your hiring a little merrier with ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Just go to this exclusive web address right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/Bomani. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
All right, Bo, let's get to some more stories from the weekend. Phillip Rivers actually played. They almost beat the Seahawks. He was 8 for 27, 120 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But what was your biggest takeaway from seeing the 44-year-old returning to the NFL action?
Man, as long as he didn't die, all right? But I watched a couple drives, and he is a Larry Holmes all-star, man. Like, he's looking flabby as sick. Like, so the thing about, I feel like the guy that comes back at this age is typically either going to be like in your mind, or like when you do the movie, like a Kenny Stabler type that you imagine, who's just been smoking cigarettes and drinking Miller High Life, right? And then they call him and he's like, all right, I'll come out here and play a game, like smoking a cigarette on the sideline. Or something like Jack LaLanne type, right? That's just like, in incredible shape and always ready for it. Dead ass in the middle is Phillip Rivers, who looked like he ain't never done a push-up in his life, right? Like, I work out for playing football by playing football. He always had that funny shot put motion and everything else, but he was always a highly entertaining watch, right? He talked cash shit out there to people, and he got it done, man. Only invariably for the Chargers to blow a late lead, and all his efforts were for naught. And what do you know? All he did today was a far less entertaining version of that right there, because it was not a fun watch. It wasn't a sad watch. It was really insulting to Riley Leonard. Like, I think that's the best way that I could put it. Like, it was just kind of confusing why he was even out there. Like, that's probably the best way that I could put it. It was just confusing. But he had them ahead at the end, only for them to give up a field goal and to lose the game. Are we at the point where we ask some questions about the Seahawks? Because this game should not have been this close.
It is. I could not take my eyes off of it. I, with all due respect, I just disagree. I thought
really
it was strangely compelling.
I couldn't get.
I understand like if the idea of like secondhand embarrassment, like not being able to watch, but it looked like a mix of like someone like in a backyard football game, like telling stories about how they were all
Oh
state
man,
20 years.
I just couldn't get anything out of it because the balls was taking so long to get there. He was throwing them lollipops over there, Jack. Like it was just, and they weren't like snatching them and running them back. Like I
Yeah.
think that was the thing. Is like if he was gonna be bad, I needed to be all the way bad. Like he needed to be on some Peter Man. He ain't give us none of that. It was just kind of it was nondescript. It was
He
it was
might be back out there.
God, that's what I'm saying. Riley Leonard. Nope, don't want to make that joke. Riley Leonard should be very upset if they were to do that. I just I was surprised to see people my age who were saying how they were like root. I guess I don't view myself the same way that these other middle-aged people view themselves, right? Like
Oh,
I
I
did
did not find it inspirational.
yeah,
I found
did
it.
not find
I
this,
found
I
it
did not
very,
find this,
very funny.
I did not find this inspiring at all.
No.
I was not rooting for him. I thought this is stupid.
Yes.
And I turned in to Adrian from the Rocky movies. Like
You can't win.
Yeah, I'm just hoping he doesn't get turned to dust.
Oh man, that's great. All right. Not so great football news. The Rams beat America's team 41-34 in a shootout we mentioned earlier. Devontae Adams went down with a hamstring injury. Puka Nacua left with an injury. Bo, your thoughts watching this game?
Yeah, man, dropping like flies. Like it was a game that reminded me why I chose this as the team to root for. Even with them not winning, they go, man. Like they're down so many dudes already going into this game, right? Down both safeties. I think this is the most recent development, and that was just at least for the first 3 quarters. It wasn't as great at the end. This was an incredible game to watch, right? Like it was highly entertaining. Jared Goff played really, really well. But looks like the Lions are not going to make playoffs this year. And you know what? Like I said, it's cool. Me and Nick, I'm gonna just go to his house during the playoffs, and we just gonna be over there hating. And we just gonna be hating for a month. That's all we're gonna be doing, right? But hey, man, it's dropping like fly season. Like, I mean, you just look around everywhere you go, man. Everybody's dropping like flies. There's gonna be a lot of this is just who can hang, who can persevere. But that's where we are.
All right, going to college football now. Kalen DeBeor says he is not leaving Alabama. He said in the statement, we have an incredible opportunity in front of us, so my sole focus is on Alabama football and our preparations to play Oklahoma. I have not spoken, have no interest in speaking with anyone else about any other job. I'm fully committed to this program and look forward to continuing as the head coach of the University of Alabama. Bo, were you surprised?
I thought that was a very strong, strident, while simultaneously legally non-binding statement.
Sounds like he's negotiating for an extension.
Yeah, like that. And those reports are coming out about it. I just want to see how he feels after this game against Oklahoma.
Same.
Right, which could go either way. It's going to be blazing hot for you if you don't. Now, I will say this also. Something that I think is interesting about the playoff that isn't quite discussed, because I've seen people make the argument, because Alabama lost 4 games last year, I want to say, and they have lost 3 games so far this year. That means in all likelihood, they're going to lose 4 games this year.
Almost certainly, yes.
One thing this playoff does is add to the number of good teams assured to end their season with a loss. And nothing makes your season feel worse than ending it with a loss, right? That's a thing. And that's kind of what's happening here. Like if they were just going to the Capital One Bowl and got to square up against Wisconsin, well, not Wisconsin this year, but somebody like that and come out of there with a dub, I think this might have gone over a little different. He better win this game against Oklahoma, basically is the thing that I'm saying right now, right? Again, the monster has not been revved back up. But we looked at that contract, Ryan. It's like $70-something million to buy him out. It's like 3 if he leaves.
So it's something impossible.
Yeah, like if he leaves on his own, it's something like $4 million. Like I respect Alabama on that front. Like we ain't gonna keep you here, except here they are, apparently negotiating this extension because they know that job. They know they got a crazy job. And if I'm DeBoer, I guess the problem right now at Michigan is that they in the midst of chaos, but I would definitely listen to what they had to say.
Absolutely. All right. And moving to the NBA, semifinals of the NBA Cup, the Spurs upset the Oklahoma City Thunder. Wembanyama made his return to action. He had some words for SGA after the game. Let's take a listen.
I'm just glad to be part of something that's growing to be so beautiful and so pure and ethical basketball, you know.
Okay. Did you watch this game?
I saw clips. I did not see the game.
Okay. Me and my brother watched this game. Victor Wembanyama played 7 minutes in the first half. His plus minus was plus 20. It was unreal watching the one-man impact that he had on this game.
Against the overwhelmingly best team in the NBA.
Overwhelmingly best team in the NBA. He hates them. Okay.
He hates them and he hates Chet.
He hates Chet, number one, right? Like Chet's missing free throws. He's clapping he hates them. But that clip right there about ethical basketball, that's him talking about the Thunder and how the Thunder be cheating, right? Now, the Thunder have a very interesting approach when playing against him, which is he's 7'5", and they just try to take his rock every time he dribbles, right? As soon as he dribbles, Caruso's going for it. I would not be surprised to find out that the Thunder practice the peanut punch in practice because they're just going for the ball. They go for the ball like you do when you're too young to be playing basketball against the age level of people that's out there, and that's the only hope you have is to try to take the ball. Like, that's what they're doing. But he doesn't like them. And it's so great because with him, maybe they could challenge the Thunder. Like, the Thunder are probably going the Thunder, I think, are going to win 70 games this year. There's a good chance they could break the wins record. There are teams that can challenge them. Denver, I think, can give them a challenge. We're going to see what Houston ultimately is. But this one right here is the rivalry, right? And what they did, and I'd say this also about Knicks Magic, but it's very important, that NBA Cup felt like something. Like in watching that game, it felt like a big game. I don't know if that's tied to the event or is simply tied to the way that these teams feel about each other. But these teams feel a way about each other. And it starts with the fact, I was talking to my man Jason about this. He made a great point. He was like, can you imagine how unserious Victor believes that Chet is?
I can only imagine.
Right? Like Chet out here on his B-Rad. Victor goes to hang out with the Shaolin monks. Like, and y'all tried to say he was better than me? Oh my goodness. It's gonna be like this for a long time with these teams. I love it.
All right, Bo. Voicemails. A lot of good ones. Here's our first.
Hey, Bo. This is Tony from Las Vegas. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Know what you do. So I've been listening to you guys long enough to know the original story of Lawrence Fishburne. So leads me to a question because it kind of reminds me of your disdain you have for Lane Kiffin. So the question I have is, who do you dislike more? Lawrence Fishburne, Lane Kiffin, Stringer Bell, or the New Orleans Saints? Thanks for your time, Bo. Keep doing what you're doing.
You know, the best part about Stringer Bell not being a real person is I don't have to respect his humanity. That allows me to lean all the way in on like, you know what though? Once you put Lane Kiffin in this is a little bit of a tougher call. Like my issue with Lawrence Fishburne, I don't know if he a bad person necessarily. I just felt like, for those of you who don't know, I was working a press junket once in the year of our Lord 2003 at the I believe it was the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, and the way a press junket works is they do it two different ways. Either way, you put a bunch of reporters in one room or at one table, like 6 or 7. It's like for a movie cast, you rotate the cast around to the table. So it's like a bunch of mini press conferences. And this allows you to, get more work done going around the room. And so I was there to do an interview with somebody else. And they sat Lawrence Fishburne down at the table. And so I wasn't really paying no attention to him. And he tried to call me out and make me ask him a question. And I did. And it was a good question, too. I don't remember what it was. And that jerk was just like, no. And just tried to play me in front of all these people. It was white people, too. Like, I just didn't really believe that was appropriate behavior coming from him. But, the world got him back. Right? But that was just one day. You know what I mean? Like, that's, I can't say that I don't approve of what he stands for. Like, I don't approve of what Stringer Bell stands for or what Lane. Stringer Bell is the answer. Feel like Lane Kiffin and Stringer Bell got a lot in common, though.
It's going to be an interesting year. All right, here's our next one.
What's up, Bomani? This is Corday from the Bay. It's a follow-up to the voicemail you played. No, I'm not adopted. This was my grandpa's idea. I know you're from Houston, Texas. My grandpa's from Dallas, Texas. I don't know if that got anything to do with it, but also my grandpa looks like James Brown, except he's 6'2" and is a truck driver. Yeah.
You got a perm?
So after we, so it was his idea to all of a sudden start going to Yosemite, and we hadn't went in years. So he decided, let's go when y'all all are 18. And that's when we missed the bear, stuff like that. That was the last time my family went, because my mom was like, I ain't dealing with this stress again. But my dumb self, went the next year with some non-black people and woke up one morning to the sound of bear again. But I was in my tent, and I was with some non-black people, and they was like, bear, let's get out. I was like, no, wait. Waited like 2 minutes. So he's okay now. I was like, no, let's wait again. I was like, let's just wait. Precautionary. Then we eventually got out of our tent, and when we got out of our tent, someone yelled, hey, good thing y'all didn't get out of y'all's tent, because the bear was right in front of your tent. And that was the last time I went to Yosemite. That's Corday from the Bay.
Yeah, so those of you, Corday from the Bay last week told us a story about how he was fortunate. He went to take a walk, shall we say, and while he was gone, the bear had come, and they was at Yosemite, and I was trying to figure out what was going on with these black people at Yosemite, and he gave the answer, and then he just said that he went with some non-black people to Yosemite, and he said what happened. And I will just tell you, tying back to a conversation we were having a little bit earlier, if my spidey senses are correct, and he's talking about he was out there in the woods with these non-white people, if the bear had ate him, they'd have put him in one of them memes that I've been seeing going around with Sherrone Moore. Who else? They put Mel Tucker in the picture. Who else they have in there? But if you had got ate by a bear because you was in the woods with some non-white people, I get the feeling you'd have been on the same list.
All right. Here's our last one.
Hey, Bo. First time, long time from the wilds of northern Michigan. I met my wife in the wilderness of northern New Mexico at the world's largest youth camp in Cimarron, New Mexico. And so I was not walking with my cousins, but I was walking with my future wife into the woods. And we were doing things that young people do when they get away from, nature taking its course. And, bears are known for two things. One is, terrible eyesight and an excellent sense of smell. So I can just imagine what this bear saw on the ground, writhing and also smelling, probably about something like it. And I looked up and I saw this big old bull of a bear come walking up towards us. And I got right up, had to protect my lady, threw my overalls on, and I started yelling and screaming, and hey, bear, get out of here, as is the custom when you see a bear such as that in your area. And I'm waving my hands, and that old boy just kind of stopped and made a different direction. He did not change pace. He was not scared. He didn't care about me at all, but he knew that he needed to just keep walking. And I was a lucky man that day, that's for sure. Thank you.
Ryan, the last thing I expected was that voice, and everything kept getting even more and more unexpected. Like, it built to such an amazing crescendo of defying expectations.
He just went to the world's largest youth camp as an aside.
Yes, he did. And Also, I don't think he knows what kind of walk. Hey, shout out to you, big baby. Like big dog.
He sounded like he was having a great time.
No, you was making it happen. But I shout out to you also for throwing on your overalls. That wouldn't have been.
He said extremely northern Michigan. I'm assuming that means the Upper Peninsula, and I don't know if you know about that place.
Oh yeah. That is one of those I need to look up, like how that works.
Yeah.
But wow, that was an amazing story. I appreciate that, man. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 4 times a week. Ryan Brumley handling things behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Hit our voicemail line, 323-596-7767. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.